Does the thought of walking up to a stranger and starting a conversation and introducing yourself just give you the heebie-jeebies, or even given a tightened chest and a sense of anxiety? Does the idea of building a network of like-minded individuals in music and the industry around you really give you nightmares? Well, today we're going to talk about how an introvert can really still build a network using all the skills that we're going to share today. Let's have a think on that.
Hello and welcome to the podcast, where we are here to strengthen music careers and communities one song at a time. And now here's your host, Jacob Wing. Yay!
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode. So glad to have you with us. Have a great, insightful video for us today. We're going to share lots of great thoughts and ideas. I thought it'd be a great idea to talk about looking at the world as building this network in music, which is really vital, important to growing your career as a musician if you're truly serious about it. And not all of us are mentally and physically built to do such a thing. Some of us are introverts, and I've been that way my whole life. Just the idea of being in a room with, over 20 people makes me want to throw up. I just absolutely hate it. But there's ways that you can still leverage what you do and still find a way to build a great network of musicians around you so that you can prop up what you're doing, be a part of what they're doing, get exposed to things that you would never be exposed to by following these steps. Just 5 quick ones, and of course, we'll go over them all. Just before we start, gonna take a second, say thank you to everybody who's been watching all the episodes, giving us the likes, giving us the subscribes, joining the community. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. If you haven't, your first time here, or you just been watching and haven't done it yet, give us a subscribe, join our community, give us a like if it helps you. These are videos. Every time you give a like, it gives a bigger push out there to the world. So all those things help. Again, thank you guys so much. You're the best. Let's get right into it. So the first tip I want to share with you is, if you're an introvert, if being in a large group of people or sharing yourself or trying to reach out to another person really gets to you, the best way to get around that as a beginner, as you're starting out, is to spend extra time developing your social media presence and your presence online, whether that be your website or your social media platforms, and build yourself out that way. Share what you're doing and start getting some numbers and some followers that way, just by being consistent and getting, a following that way. And then use those platforms to reach out to people. So instead of doing that really nervous thing of walking up and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so, I play music too, I'd like to talk to you about what I do or what we can do together, all those kind of things, they really just make your skin crawl. You don't have to do that, because you can do it over the internet and just give yourself that shield of the internet of, hey, how you doing? I'm so-and-so, look at my stuff, here's what I do. I really like what you're doing. Maybe we can find a way to work together. Maybe we could be on the same bill together and play music together. All those kind of things are just possibilities, but building out your network, going that direction really can be a huge way to do that. And doing it online really gives you that sense of separation of not having to put yourself up fully in front of somebody or feel like a fool because you don't know what to say in the right moment. It gives you that time to think about and calculate and be more purposeful with what you're going to respond with. That's the same reason that dating really moved to being online, message based after 2010s, just because it gives you that separation, that bit of where everybody could be a little more confident and show the parts they want to show on their dime, during at the time they want to share, and go from there. So if that's really, your big thing holding you back from moving forward is growing a network, here's where you start. Start talking to people online, even if it's just to say, I like what you're doing. Can I learn a little bit from you? All those kind of things. It's a great way. And just being friendly, like I said, just saying, I like what you do, or here's what I really like, what you're doing, or just giving likes consistently. It's a great way to start building a network. Tip number 2 is, if you're like me, if you're like a lot of us out there who really do not like being in a large room or trying to introduce yourself and talk business in a completely, like a concert atmosphere where everything's blaring. You can barely get a conversation across. You feel like you're not making any room, and that just builds up the anxiety, all those kind of things. There's a better way to do it, and that's to search out smaller events or jam sessions. And doing this, you can really pick and choose of what you're going to do. And again, the great way to do this is to be on social media. And if there's people that you think that you want to talk to, or you'd love to build a network with, and talk to them and be a part of what they're doing, or have them be a part of what you're doing, this is a great way to see, like, what are they doing? If they announce, hey, we're going to the jam night tonight. Hey, open mics tonight. We're going to the open mic. Or we're going to have a jam session. Or we're going to have a songwriting session. We're going to have in the round, and everybody's going to come and, going to write together, and everybody's going to add a little something to it. Bring your instruments, bring your vocals, bring your voice, all those kind of things. And you can start to meet in smaller venues and really build a network and a relationship in that manner, as opposed to like going to their show when they're already overwhelmed and they're already got 100 other people talking in their ears at all time, and trying to find that time. That's usually one of the worst times to try to network is at one of their shows. If they're coming to your show and you want to make time for them, that's great. But I have this policy myself, at least. I will not go up and talk to somebody before they play a show, because that's their time to get ready. It's their time to find their right mental state that they want to be in to put on a great performance. And I don't want to interrupt that in any way, shape, or form. So finding these smaller, little more intimate things are such a great help, and it's a chance for them to see what you do. You get to see what they can do in a live setting. It's just perfect. So great tip there. This one here, number 3, as we're moving on, is one of my favorites. And instead of thinking of being an introvert as a weakness, I want you to take this tip number 3 and think of you being an introvert and use it as your strength. And what I mean about that, as an introvert, as a person who does not like to be in large crowds, a tendency and there's a very high likelihood that if you are an introvert, you're really good at listening. You are good at taking in information, letting people speak and reflect so much what they want to hear, or, what they need to hear, and be a real person engaged in a conversation that's not superficial about, you talk about you, I'll talk about me, and we'll just say words. Introverts, I find, are very great about listening and really understanding about your story. And then maybe they'll share a story of theirs, but it's going to relate to your story. And, there's always a better conversation usually from somebody who's an introvert, and you should use that as a complete and utter advantage. You should sit down, and when you find those chances to talk to somebody, remember, you're good at this. Just listen. See what their story is. Try to be understanding, or, celebrate their wins. See what you can do to help them, or how you can help each other. This is the greatest, get your foot in the door, because they're going to instantly respond to you, especially when you get like those extroverted people. I guess we sometimes call them type A personalities, where they just want to talk about themselves. They just want to, everything's got to be about them, how great they are. We're kind of like their kryptonite, because they'll just come and we absorb it, and we can think in our heads and just sit back and be like, yeah, you're great. And then they just keep talking and talking. At some point, they run out of fuel, and then there's this time for this great conversation, because they're such a great listener. You can reflect to them back to, say the things that they've said, or, here's what you're great at. I love what you're doing. Hey, maybe we can do this. Here's how we can work together. Can we collaborate? All those kind of things. Remember, use this as a strength, not a weakness. Number 4 is collaborate without pressure. I've said collaborate a lot in this, but this one is where you start to focus. And it's, again, a strength of an introvert is that you are able to separate a bit and hyper focus in smaller groups, or just one-on-one. You're really good at this. And collaborating without pressure is, just finding a way to, in a one-on-one situation, again, turning whatever they're saying, what they're doing, and finding a way to be a part of it. Hey, I can take great video. Can I help you out? Can I take some video during your shows? Or maybe you want to help me make a music video for you? Or, I'm great at doing audio. Is there something I can do? I can maybe do some recordings and help you out and build you up that way. Or maybe you're fantastic at social network, and you're like, hey, I see you guys doing great things, but you're not getting the numbers you should. Maybe I can help out and give you guys a more consistent schedule and get you, better posts out there, so people really start to see what you're doing. Where it is, find a way to be a part of that. And even better if it's music. If you're like, hey, I'm a great lead player, you want to do some, I can do some lead guitar playing on your tracks, or I can help you write this here, this and this, or this song could use some piano. I'm a great piano player. If you can offer something musically, more points to you, you're doing even better. But finding a way to be collaborative and just use your skills at being a one-on-one communicator, and to turn that into something how you can be useful to them, and start growing your network that way. Because then the more you do that, the more that when they get in a crunch situation and they need somebody, you're top of list. That, hey, so-and-so is great at this. Let's get them in here. Or, we need to add somebody to our bill. They're great at this. I know they're great musicians. We can add them onto our bill and they can open for us. You start getting opportunities based on this. And it's a great way to start building your network. Last but not least, number 5, follow up without fear. So this one is, I think, one of our number one hard parts of being an introvert. If you're looking deep at yourself, and you truly are, and I'll share more about myself than I really wanted to, is just, this is that one thing that I really hate. I can even feel myself starting to wring my fingers. I just hate it when I'm done socially with people and we've talked and we've made our plans. The second I get to the car, the second that I walk out of the room, I'm in instant regret mode of, I don't want to talk to anybody anymore. I don't want to, whatever I committed to, I don't want to do that now. And I'll walk away and let things die off. But if you follow this tip, I promise it will kind of get rid of this harshness of being an introvert and start helping you build networks. It's that when you're with somebody, find a way to get your follow-up done when you're with them. So, hey, we should do so-and-so, put it into your phone, make a calendar, make a reminder, do it right then and there. And it helps so much when you walk away. And or even if it's that first couple minutes of you're separated, they've walked away, and you just have time, make some way of making it a permanent thing in your life. Put it on a calendar. Make sure you can commit to it. These kind of things, the more that I find a way to make it a permanent thing that comes back to me or shows me, and I like to set reminders on my phone, a week out or 2 weeks out, just to give myself a heads up of so-and-so's coming over, or we're going to meet up in 2 weeks. And then a week, it'll give me another reminder. And then the day before, it'll give me another reminder. And it helps me break down those barriers of, I don't want to see anybody or do anything to, okay, I've committed to this. Okay, it's coming up. I knew about this. It's not such a big deal. And it works fantastic. I promise if you can just start to do this follow-up routine, it gets rid of that fear and breaks it down. And you stop not doing things, and you start to build your network because you're consistent. And people like consistency. People reach out to consistency. People want to collaborate with consistent people. So that's all I got for you today. Just 5 great tips from one introvert to another that loves to be a part of music and be a part of the community, be a part of all these groups, but had to find a different way in because just going out and being a shining star wasn't a way to do it. If this will help you, please use them. And maybe you're not that person and you don't have that issue, but there's other great episodes. Check those out. If this helped you at all, please give us a like, give us a subscribe. All those things really do help. And of course, we'll see you on that next one. Bye.